as an assistant professor in Department of Computer Science, Bishop Keeper College. Warm greeting one and all. Today we are going to discuss about the role of inheritance. As you already know, inheritance plays a major role in object-oriented programming concept. Okay, myself, Priscilla, I am working as an assistant professor in Department of CS. Okay, we are going to exploring the role of inheritance in further slides. Okay, let us discuss. So first of all, we have to know what is mean by inheritance. So what is mean by inheritance? Inheritance is nothing but you are going to reusing the existing class properties or features. Okay, when you are in the need, you are going to create one new class instead of adding the new features to the new classes. Okay, you are in the need. You are in the need. Suppose you are going to reusing the existing class property. Along with that, you also add some new feature. In the sense, you can go for this type of the inheritance concept. So inheritance is nothing but you are going to reusing the existing class properties and features. Along with that, you are also having the freedom to add some other new features. So this is the role of inheritance here. Okay, you are going to reusing the existing class property. Whenever you are implementing the inheritance in your program, either it may be in the Java or it may be C++ or any other OOPS based language, it is going to be create a relationship in your application or in your program. We are going to discuss it. We are going to discuss the example in our further slides. So as of now, you know inheritance is going to create a relationship in our application. If you want to implementing the inheritance, you are going to use one specific keyword. That keyword is called it as a extends. So at last, what is the purpose? What is the ultimate objective of inheritance? With the help of the inheritance, reusability and extendability is going to be implemented in our program. So reusability and extendability is the ultimate objective or purpose of the inheritance. So inheritance is nothing but you are going to reusing the existing class properties and features. What is the property of the class? It is nothing but methods and fields are called it as a property of the one particular class. You are going to reusing that particular properties. Here I am giving a practical example, real life example in what way inheritance is implemented. Okay, she is a mother. That mother is going to have 3 children. Okay, children number 1, children number 2, children number 3. Okay, the mother is going to have a following abilities and characteristics or traits, not a characteristics or a traits. She is no cooking, she is sing very well, she is dancing, she is perform dancing very well, she is having a teaching ability also. Okay, when she having a 3 children, the 3 children is going to inherit the traits of their mother. Along with that, they also have some specific traits. Okay, children number 1 is inheriting the property of his mother. Along with that, he also have some specific traits. Children number 2 is also inheriting the property of her mother. Along with that, she also have some specific property. Children number 3 is also inheriting the property of her mother. Along with that, she also having an ability shooting guns and repair electrons. So this is a way practically inheritance is implemented in our application and in your programs also. I hope you understand what is the role of inheritance here. Then we are going to discuss about what are the terms are used in inheritance. So when you want to implementing the inheritance, you have to know what are the terms are used here. So term number 1 is called as a class. Class plays a vital role in OOPS elements. Class is nothing but it is a template, or it may be called as a data structure, or it may be a blueprint, or it also called as group of object who are all possessing a similar characteristics. For example, grapes, apple, orange, all are the fruits. So fruit is a class, grape, orange and apple, they are all the object of the class fruit. As I already told that when you are grouping the object and that object is going to have some common traits, means that particular concept is called as a class. By the help of the class you are going to grouping the various object. For example, if you are a student of the class BSc A section, means BSc is a class. Each and every one, the part of the class BSc A section is called as an object. So by the help of the class you are going to group the various objects. So that's why it is called as a templates or data structure. So class is a very important terms when you want implementing the inheritance. Second important term is called as a super class or parent class. It is also called as a base class. When you are having some important treasurable features or characteristics, the treasurable features or characteristics is going to be reused by some other classes, means the class which is going to provide the treasurable properties to some other class, that particular class is called as a super class or parent class. Or in some other sense, if you want to tell that super class is nothing but which is going to be inherited by some other classes. So role of the super class is very much important in the concept of inheritance. Next one is subclass, child class or derived class. Derived class or subclass or child class is nothing but the class which is going to be inheriting the property of the base class or super class is called as a subclass. So subclass is going to having the treasurable property of the super class. Along with that it also have some specific property. That's why it is called as subclass. You must remember one thing, whenever you are going to create an object for the inheritance concept, you must create the object for the subclass itself. Okay, last term in the inheritance is called as a reusability. As I already told that class is going to have some special treasurable or special properties or features. Methods and fields are called as a property of the class. When you are using an inheritance, by the help of the inheritance you are going to be reusing that treasurable field and a method to the child class or subclass. So that's why the reusability implemented in inheritance. So these are all the important terms are used in the inheritance. Okay, so here I am giving a syntax for implementing the inheritance. You are going to use the keyword class. Along with that you are going to give a name of the subclass. Then you are going to use the keyword extends. I already told that when you want to implementing the inheritance you are going to use the keyword. That keyword is called as a extends. Then you are going to give a name of the superclass. Here you are going to specify the methods and fields. Okay, this is subclass. This is scope of your subclass. This in this scope you are going to have a property of the superclass. Along with that subclass also have some specific property. So this is a way you are going to be implementing inheritance in your Java program. Next we are going to discuss about the types of the inheritance. So first type of the inheritance is called as a single inheritance. Okay, when you are having one superclass, one subclass, when you are having one base class, one derived class, means that type of the inheritance is called as a single inheritance. One derived class is going to be inheriting the property of the one particular base class. One subclass is going to be inheriting the property of the one particular superclass. So this is the way single inheritance is implemented. Here I am giving an example. Cat is a subclass. That subclass is going to be implementing the property of the animal class. I already told that inheritance is used to create a is a relationship. Okay, now we check it is created. Cat is a animal. So this is a way is a relationship is implemented by the help of the inheritance. Okay, if you are having some other class, okay, for example instead of cat you are having a dog, means you can call dog is a animal. This is a way is a relationship is implemented. You must remember, when you are creating a single inheritance it must contain one base class, one derived class. So that type of inheritance is called as a single inheritance. Next type of inheritance is called as a multi-level inheritance. It is also called as a chain of inheritance. Why it is called as a chain of inheritance? You please check this example. One base class, okay, this base class is going to be inherited by one derived class. This derived class is going to be act as a base class for some other derived class. Okay, for this third class, the second class is going to be act as a base base class. This chain can be continue up to any number of level depending upon your need. Okay, depending upon the application you are going to be implemented. That's why it is called as a chain of inheritance. So this is an explanation about multi-level inheritance. As I already told that you are having a freedom to create any level when you are implementing the multi-level inheritance. Derived class is going to be act as a base class for one particular level. When I simplify tell this, derived class of one level is going to be act as a base class for some other level. For example, CS science department is a base class for CS department. CS department is going to act as a base class for BSc A classes. So this is a way multi-level inheritance is implemented. CS department is a science department, BSc A section is a CS department. This is a way is a relationship is implemented. So on the whole, what is meant by multi-level inheritance? Derived class of the one level is going to be act as a base class for another level. BSc for BSc A section, base class is CS department. Okay, for CS department, base class is science department. So this is a way the level can be go any further depending upon your need. Okay, this is about multi-level inheritance. Okay, the role of multi-level inheritance is very much important in Java. Next type of inheritance is called as a hierarchical inheritance. Okay, whenever the two or more classes is going to be inherit the property of the one single class, this type of the inheritance is called as a hierarchical inheritance. Okay, when you and your sibling are the children of your parent, you both of them is going to inherit the properties of your parent. So similar way in hierarchical inheritance, two or more classes is going to inheriting the property of the one particular base class. In our example, CS department and CA department, both classes are going to inheriting the property of the Bishop Keeper College class. So this is a way hierarchical inheritance is going to be implemented. You may ask the question, only two classes is going to be accessing the property of the one particular base class. No, it is not like that. You are having any number of derived classes, all of them is going to be inherited one particular base class, means that particular consequence is called it as a hierarchical inheritance. CS department is a Bishop Keeper College department, CA department is a Bishop Keeper College department. This is a way is a relationship is also implemented. So what is the point here? When two or more classes inheriting the property of the one particular base class, means the type of inheritance is called it as a hierarchical inheritance. Okay, next type of inheritance is called it as a hybrid inheritance. Hybrid, as a name itself it implies, hybrid inheritance is a combination of two or more types of inheritance. So in our illustration, in this illustration we are going to have two types of inheritance. We are implementing two types of inheritance. In level 1 we are having a hierarchical inheritance. In level 2 we are having a multiple inheritance. What does mean by multiple inheritance? When one child class is going to inheriting the property of more than one base class, means that is called it as a multiple inheritance. But the point here is Java does not support multiple inheritance, but by the help of the interface you can implementing the multiple inheritance also. So what does mean by multiple inheritance? Class D, for class D, class B is a parent, class C is a parent. So class D is going to inheriting the property of the class B and class C. In this analogy, this type of the inheritance is called it as a multiple inheritance. First level, as I already told, that you are going to have a hierarchical inheritance. Two or more classes is going to inheriting the property of the one base class, means that is called it as a hierarchical inheritance. So in the hybrid inheritance you are going to have a combination of two or more inheritance. That's why it is called it as a hybrid inheritance. So still now we are discussing various type of inheritance what is the role of inheritance, how it is implemented in Java. All those things we are discussed. Thank you for your patient listening. In our next session we will explore more about inheritance. Thank you.